Hello everyone. In the last video friends, in part 1 of GST returns, we have understood some of the provisions of GST returns. What we understood is section 37 was about the uploading of the details of outward supply. 37 afterwards there was 38. 38 was about uploading the returns of inward supplies. And 39 was about the monthly return and other returns which are required to be filed. I mentioned in the earlier video also friends that only section 39 prescribes about the returns, whatever monthly or quarterly you are required to file. Section 37 and section 38 are only the details of the outward and inward supplies whatever we have made that is required to be submitted. So 37, 38 are actually not returns. Now whatever forms they have prescribed, in which forms we are required to upload these things, then outward supplies details are required to be uploaded in GSTR 1. The procedures we have understood in the previous video. The inward supplies details are required to be uploaded in GSTR 2. And section 39 says the monthly returns whatever we are required to upload, that will be uploaded in GSTR 3. Question remains, which are the details of the outward supplies we are required to upload in the outward supplies return under section 37. Whether we are required to scan the invoices and upload, or invoice wise details are required to be given, or some consultant details are required to be given, then those things are mentioned in the rules. They are saying if you are supplying goods or services to a registered person, then whether the supply is intrastate supply or interstate supply, you are required to upload invoice wise details. So invoice number you are required to mention, GSTR registration number you are required to mention for the recipient. So invoice wise details are required to be uploaded if the supply is made to a registered person. If the supply is made to an unregistered person, then we will make two parts. The supply is intrastate. If it is intrastate and provided to unregistered person, then you are not required to give invoice wise details. You are required to submit consolidated details for each rate of tax. So whatever are the rate of tax, against that whatever total consolidated supplies you have made during the month, that you are required to upload for unregistered intrastate. Now unregistered interstate, they are saying if the invoice value is exceeding 2.5 lakhs, 2,50,000 rupees, then even if it is made to unregistered person, if it is interstate and invoice value exceeding 2,50,000 rupees, then you are required to upload the details invoice wise. If it is less than 2,50,000 rupees, then you can upload consolidated details for each state, for each rate. So this is how we are uploading the details under GSTR 1. GSTR 2 will be mainly auto-populated from GSTR 1. So basically we can say that only the outward supply details are required to be uploaded. Inward supply details whatever will be there, that will be auto-generated from the outward supply details. Yes, you can modify, you can delete, you can add some of the things which are not shown by GSTR 1 in your GSTR 2. GSTR 2 is required to be filed by the recipient. Now both the supplier and recipient are required to file GSTR 3 before 20th of the succeeding month. So most of the parts of GSTR 3 will also be auto-populated from your GSTR 1 and GSTR 2. You are required to make the payment of the tax, and then after only you can upload the returns before 20th of the succeeding month. So we have understood that to whom these provisions are applicable and to whom these provisions are not applicable. Let's say a person who is required to deduct TDS under section 51, mainly government agencies, local authorities. To them these provisions are not applicable. Electronic commerce operator who is collecting tax under section 52, to them also this provision is not applicable. Then after, the person paying tax under section 10, that is a composition scheme, to him also this provision is not applicable. A non-taxable, non-resident taxable person, to him also this provision is not applicable. So for them which returns are required to be filed, that also will verify. Friends, for a person who is paying tax under composition scheme under section 10, he is required to file return under GSTR 4. He is required to file quarterly return and not monthly return, and he is required to file this return on or before 18th of the month succeeding the quarter for which he is filing this return. Then after friends, a person who is deducting TDS under section 51, he is required to file return in the form GSTR 7. That will be within 10 days, a monthly return. In the same way friends, a person who is an input service distributor, he is required to file the return under GSTR 6, and a non-resident taxable person, he is required to file return under GSTR 5. So these were some of the provisions which are the forms we are required to fill up. So we have understood 37, 38, 39. Now section 40 is about first return. Section 40 says that whenever you are applying for registration, after you become liable for registration, that means, let's say, as per section 22, you are required to get registration if your aggregate turnover exceeds 20 lakhs rupees. So today my aggregate turnover exceeds 20 lakhs rupees. I am applying for registration within 30 days from the date on which I am becoming liable for registration. Then in that situation, what will happen is, from the date on which I become liable for registration till the date on which I am granted the registration, in between this period, whatever supplies I have made, for that I am required to revise the returns, because now I am required to issue tax invoices, and those kind of things I am required to mention in my first return. So section 40 talks about the first return. It is applicable only for a period on which you become liable for registration till the time on which your registration has been granted. So this is given under section 40. Section 41. Section 41 is about provisional credit. It says that whatever things you have mentioned in your GSTR 2, they all things are provisional. That means subject to matching, because matching is required to be done under section 42 and section 43. How the matching is done, how the discrepancy is communicated to the supplier and recipients, that we have already verified in our previous video. So we are not going to discuss that 42 and 43. Then after friends, there is a section 44, which is about annual return. For annual return friends, they are saying that for the full financial year, you are required to file an annual return on or before 31st December following the financial year for which you are filing the return. That means if I am filing the annual return for the year 2017-18, I am required to file annual return on or before 31st of December 2018. So 9 months time period is available. That is given under section 44. One more thing friends about the importance of annual return under section 44. Whatever mismatches happens or some mistakes or omissions happens in filing the returns, in that situation you can rectify those things in the month in which you notice this discrepancy. For example, let's say in the month of April I have not shown some of the supplies. So I notice those kind of things in the month of July. So there is no provision of revision of return here. In the month of July, whatever return you are filing, in that you can rectify these things. You can show these supplies. But it is not an indefinite period of time till which you are allowed to rectify this kind of errors or this kind of omissions. If let's say we are filing annual return for the year 2017 and 18, let's assume that in any month of the year 2017 and 18, some of the supplies are not mentioned. Then from up to which date I can show these things in my returns? Then they are saying the due date of filing the monthly return of the September month following the financial year. That means it will be mainly 20th of October, or the due date, or let's say or the date of filing the annual return under section 44, whichever is earlier. Meaning thereby, if there is any error in the year 2017-18, then if I am filing the September month's return, September 2018's return on or before 20th of October, so on or before 20th of October I can rectify these things, or the date on which I have filed the annual return under section 44, whichever is earlier. That means let's say I am filing the annual return in the month of November 2018. So the rectification can be done only up to 20th of October. Let's say I am filing my annual return on 31st of May, everything is ready, all the data is ready, and I have filed on 31st of May, then I cannot be allowed to rectify these things up to September or October. I can only rectify up to 31st of May. That means the date of filing the annual return. So this is also important from the point of view of rectification, section 44, annual return. Next section in the return segment is section 45. Section 45 is about final return. What is final return? Whenever your registration has been cancelled, either you have applied for cancellation or suo motu the officer has cancelled after providing you an opportunity of being heard. In that situation, within 3 months from the date of order or the order date, that means the date on which your effective date on which your registration has been cancelled or the date on which the order has been passed, whichever is later. From that particular dates, 3 months, within 3 months you are required to file the final return. Final return will be that you are now going out of GST. So you are required to show that all the tax liabilities are paid, everything is over. So that is called final return under section 45. Filing of return is only up to section 45. 46 is about notice to the return defaulters. That means you are not filing the return up to the due date. Then after due date, within 15 days, they will issue a notice that you have not filed the returns. Now once you are receiving the notice, you are required to respond and you are required to file the returns. If you don't respond, what will happen? If you don't file the return on or before the due date, what will happen? That is given under section 47. Mind well, this is not a penalty under section 47, it is a late fees. Penalty can be waived. For penalty there can be a reasonable cause because of which it can be waived. But this is not the situation for late fees, except if the express powers are given to the proper officer to waive the late fees cannot be waived. So what is the amount of late fees they have prescribed? They are saying if you are not filing the returns under section 37, 38, 39, 45, I have excluded section 44, that is the annual return. Annual return we will consider later on, that is subsection 2 of section 47. Right now we are talking about subsection 1 of section 47. So if I am not filing these returns or the details of outward inward supplies, then they are saying per day 100 rupees late fees I am required to pay, up to maximum of 5,000 rupees. So this is what will happen if I am not filing the returns. I have excluded section 44. Section 44, that is annual return, if you are not filing on or before the due date is 31st of December. Then they are saying the late fees will be 100 rupees per day, but maximum amount is not 5,000. Maximum amount they are saying will be quarter percentage of your turnover in that particular state or union territory. So let's say my turnover during that particular period is 3 crore rupees, I am required to apply 0.25% on 3 crore rupees, that much will be the maximum late fees and not 5,000 rupees. So this is what is prescribed as a late fees under section 47. Section 48 is about the GST practitioners, their appointment, etc. are prescribed in section 48. So mainly the return provisions are up to section 45. 46 is about the notice to the return defaulters. 47 is about the late fees. In summary, we will understand these things, friends. Section 37 is my outward supplies that I am required to file. 38 is my inward supply I am required to file, which will be auto-populated normally from my 37 outward supplies. Then after I am required to file certain returns under section 39, monthly returns or quarterly returns, TDS returns, TCS statements, etc. Those provisions are given under section 39. 40, as we have understood, it is about the first return. Then after 41 we have understood whatever credit you are taking in GSTR 2, that is a provisional credit, that is before mismatch. Before the matching is done, if there is any mismatch in that particular situation, you are required to reverse the credit you have taken. That means they are saying that whatever credit you have shown in GSTR 2, that is only a provisional credit. 42 and 43 is about the matching of the credits or reduction in the liabilities. They will match, and then after if any discrepancy will be there, the communication will be sent to you by email. You are required to rectify. If you are not rectifying, they will add these things in your output liability with interest. So up to 43 it is about the matching. 44 we have understood is the annual return you are required to file on or before 31st of December. Then after we have understood final return, you are required to file within 3 months from the date of cancellation of your registration. 46 is about notice to the return defaulters. If you are defaulting in filing the return within 15 days, they will issue the notice. And section 47 is about the late fees for non-compliance. Non-compliance about what? Non-compliance about the return filing. If within the due date you are not filing the returns under section 37, 38 or 39 or section 45, in that situation the penalty or late fees is 100 rupees per day or 5,000, whichever is less. That means maximum is up to 5,000. In case if you are not filing the annual return within the due date, then the penalty is 100 rupees per day up to maximum of quarter percentage of your turnover within that particular state or union territory. So this was about the return. Some other provisions we will verify in the next video, friends. Thank you very much.